Today's episode of Endo Warriors Podcast is brought to you by Emmett Surgical. Emmett Surgical, revolutionizing surgical intelligence. ESP brings real-time, enhanced decision-making to the OR with unmatched precision, offering a game-changing advantage in the future of minimally invasive surgery. For more information, visit emmettsurgical.com. That's EMET surgical.com.
All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Endo Warriors. We have the honor today to have Brittany Brown, the Olympic sprinter from Team USA, bronze medalist in the 200 meters. Brittany has spent her career competing on the biggest stages in track and field while managing her endometriosis. And she's one of the only elite athletes in the world openly sharing about her disease and what it actually looks like to train, recover, and perform when your body isn't working with you. So Brittany, Jaime, and I are so honored to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the intro, and I'm excited to dive in.
So we usually start each episode and give the floor to the guests to walk us through their endo journey. But we're going to do something different today because you've been on so many podcasts and magazines, on TV segments, and you've put your story out there piece by piece. We want to get into more detailed questions, and I want to take you back specifically to the moment when you got diagnosed. What made you book that fertility appointment in the first place?
I was having pain, obviously. I have insurance through the USOPC, so the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. They partnered with someone at Texas Children's Hospital. I was living in Texas at the time. I'd met some doctors before that gave me some pretty wonky answers. And the last doctor before I met this new doctor told me to get a hysterectomy. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And so I reached out to USLPC. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for some help. Do you guys know anyone? And they were able to find me somebody to meet with who deals with endo. And ran all these tests, did like transvaginal ultrasound. And for people who don't know what that is, it basically is a camera that they look in your uterus. Stick up here.
They just stick it up there.
They just stick it up there, and it's pretty common, and I've gotten plenty before, but this was specifically with the fertility specialist. And we did some blood work as well, and based off my blood work and based off of my transvaginal ultrasound, she said that this looks like an endometrioma on your ovary, and your fertility levels for someone at this age is pretty low. So obviously they say the gold standard is surgery, but this is a clear endometrioma on your ovary. So you have endometriosis. And I was like, dang, like not only is she telling me I have endo, but she's also telling me my fertility is low. So just like double whammy. And I think a lot of women just are in a place of like, I didn't know I was going to get that answer. Like kind of knew maybe endo or maybe something else, but I didn't know I was going to get the fertility thing. So that was like, I would say endo was hard and the pain something I was used to and all the other symptoms that came with it. But the fertility part was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like how does that look like with my career and whatnot? So that was different. But how did I feel during the time? I felt relief when it came to the diagnosis, specifically around endometriosis. I kind of always knew or had an inkling that I had that. But then the fertility part, that was the part that was sad. Felt very like, what am I supposed to do with this right now?
Very lonely.
Very lonely. Just didn't know what to do in the next steps. And yeah, so it was like a weird feeling.
It's a mix of emotions, and we hear that from a lot of people. I think for a lot of people who have a diagnosis and get it when it's been years of going without it, the standard is people are like, oh my God, weren't you so glad to finally get the diagnosis? And really you're like, yeah, but at the same time, there's no cure. So it's not necessarily, okay, here's the next step. You're going to have chemo, might go into remission. Endo is just such a messy disease. So carrying both those feelings of loneliness, sadness, planning about something that you weren't initially planning on thinking about. The fertility first diagnosis is something I can relate to, but I want to bring Jaime in because your path to getting this diagnosis from a fertility doctor is different than a lot of the girls and women that we've spoke to, because it's usually opposite and they're getting the diagnosis or beat around from a general OB before they go and see a fertility specialist. So Jaime, talk to us about, since you're the nurse, about, you know, the path of diagnosis and how Brittany went and got it from a fertility specialist.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're one of very few that I've ever. I mean, a lot of women do get diagnosed with endo from infertility specialists, but it's more along the lines of they've been trying for years and they haven't had a positive pregnancy test. And then they go in and then the doctors are like, hey, have you ever heard of the word endometriosis? This might be why. But then they go in, they do ablation, they put them on some crazy hormones, and then they're like, let's just jump you into IVF or, you know, IUIs, or let's try fertility drugs. Honestly, I wish we did use fertility specialists more. A lot of times we talk about it on here. Why aren't we having the endo talk with the fertility talk?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Brittany, did you know, you said you had an inkling that you had endo. So when you went into this doctor and then they tested you for your hormones in terms of fertility, did you know that endo could affect a woman's fertility?
Heard about it, but that was like the first time I heard the word AMH. I was like, AMH? What's AMH? And I was
so
like,
Jaime, will you tell listeners like what AMH is so that they know?
Yeah, I'm sure whenever she went in for your appointment with this doctor, I'm sure she probably took vials of blood from you. You're probably like, wow, how am I gonna walk out of here? Yeah, same. Whenever
Watching, or like,
yeah, you're like, okay.
And I was anemic, and I was like, you know, I was getting iron infusion. I was like, girl, I need all my blood.
Yeah, I need every single drop that I can keep.
Especially for what you do for a living.
Yes.
Yeah, but so they took blood, all of these blood, they ran it, and they were looking at hormone levels, trying to see where you were at in your cycle, and they're also looking at egg quality. That is really what they were looking at. But I want to know is, what did they do about the endometrioma? Because you didn't have surgery right away.
No, I didn't.
So whenever she said, okay, you have an endometrioma, what was her recommendation to you?
Ooh, I have to think back. I think her recommendation at the time was in the middle of my season. I think about to start my track season. So obviously the surgery route wasn't something that I was going to do or wanted to do. She suggested other ways of dealing with the pain. Obviously,
what were some of those suggestions, out of curiosity?
I did acupuncture already. What else have I tried?
IUD.
IUD, the pill, the thing in your arm, suppositories to help with relaxing your pelvic floor, Botox to help relax your pelvic floor, or lidocaine injections around your abdomen to relax the pain. So she threw a lot of different options out. Obviously I didn't at the time, I didn't get the surgery. And then I was in the middle of my and I think that's the hard part about birth control and what I do. It's like, I don't when I'm about to compete, I'm on my same eating schedule, my same vitamins. So I'm not going to add new drug, birth control, as I'm about to compete. So I wasn't a fan of that, didn't do that. So we just tried the other ways of managing pain to help mitigate that at the time. That was in 2023. I believe she told me that in 2023. I was like, wow, here's some options. Here's what we can do.
You're throwing a million and none of them work.
You're throwing a million. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Like, what is this? The depository thing was very, okay, this is value my hoo-ha. Like, this is different. So,
We're big fans of suppositories. We talk about it all the time because we're just like
crazy because it was different, but I was just like, how do I say I like this?
Exactly.
Okay, so let me ask you this. With being in the Olympics and competing at the level that you compete at, do you have to be careful with what you take and what they could test you for?
Yeah. So with birth control, we're allowed to take birth control, and then with Valium is fine because that's obviously a drug people use for antidepressants as well. But mostly everything is fine. It's more when you start getting to like the fertility stuff and start doing like IVF or egg retrieval. That's when you have to like start signing some paperwork and stuff. Just because obviously hormones and stuff.
Yeah.
So
growth hormones.
So if men have low T and it's medically proven that they have low T and they need to take testosterone, is it the same for them that they have to sign paperwork as well?
I don't know.
Okay, we're going to look into that, because if they don't,
well, there's
get
a
me
lot
on
of
the news,
biases,
people, because I have some fucking shit to say.
There's a lot of biases on women's sports right now that a lot of female athletes are breaking through. I mean, there's certain stuff that around certain times that you can't take or do certain stuff. Definitely mindful of that, but everything that I've tried was pretty much stuff people use all the time. So
yeah,
it was.
I just think it's really important for listeners to know too that people who have endo, it affects fertility.
30 to 50.
Yes, roughly 30 to 50% of women with infertility have endo. So, Brittany, between Jaime and I, we have 44 years in delayed diagnosis.
Jeez, wow.
And I got diagnosed when I was 37. And within 2 years, I had to have an emergency total hysterectomy when I was 39. I had no idea that endo could affect fertility. And Jaime and I talk about this all the time. When we're talking about endo, it's as if we're separating endo and fertility, and it needs to be talked about together.
And a lot of things too, we were at a conference recently and this doctor was talking about how he believes that it's closer to 80% of female factor infertility. If do not accept the diagnosis of unexplained infertility, make them dig deeper because it's more than likely endometriosis. But he said it was closer to 80%. If you are not getting pregnant, nothing is wrong with the male, you more than likely have endometriosis. I find that incredibly, even at 30 to 50%, I find that incredibly high for a disease that is barely, I mean,
and
now
also, what is unexplained infertility? That's just a freaking lazy way to get out of not taking any ownership of
that's a
having
way
to be
to
responsible.
bill. That's a way to bill and throw you to the side and be like, sorry, we don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
What I want to know is your numbers are low. What did they tell you that you should maybe do? Or what should you be thinking about in the coming years?
So when I finally decided to 2024 was the Olympics. 23, I got the verbal diagnosis. 23 is when I actually started talking about it openly as well. 2024 was the Olympics. And then after the 2024 again, I got the same age testing again. First dropped again. Endometrioma are getting bigger. And at that time, she was like, hey, I think either you should get a surgery or you should do egg retrieval because it looks like, numbers are getting lower and this looks like the cyst is getting bigger. And I was toying back and forth. So of what I was going to do, if I was going to do the egg retrieval or if I wanted to do the surgery. And I was like, I don't know. For me, I wanted to do the surgery because I know some people do egg retrieval for it. And everyone's different for different reasons. For me, it was just like, I was in so much pain. So I was like, I just want to at least kind of be out of pain for a while, to see if this could help. So yeah, I think after she's like, if you get the surgery, you want to circle back to see if numbers have improved. Let us know. If you want to do egg retrieval, let us know. But I told her, I think I want to do the surgery route first. And I think for me, and I think it's hard because my body's my job. So explaining that to people that she was at the time, she didn't end up doing my surgery, but there was another doctor at the time really, really pushing egg retrieval. And I really wanted to feel better first and see if that could help. I did the surgery route first.
I mean, I think it's interesting. I actually have not heard, I don't know if you have, Jaime, of a doctor telling a patient to do the retrieval before having surgery, because when you're
I heard complete opposite. And I was
because you're pumping your body with estrogen, which we know endo feeds on. So while you're going through your egg retrieval, you're just feeding that endo. And that's basically for me, it was who's going to get there faster? Will I get pregnant? Or is the amount of estrogen that I'm feeding my body for 4 rounds of IVF, my endo, grew back? So from what I have been told, and again, not a doctor, don't know for sure. Don't quote me on any of this. But what my doctor told me was that you have a better chance of getting better quality eggs by having the surgery first.
Yeah. So when I met my surgeon, I was like, hey, I'm just the other doctor told me I should do egg retrieval first before I do the surgery. And I don't know how I feel about that. I really want to do the surgery route first. And he was like, I have met a lot of patients who've gotten the surgery first and then do egg retrieval just because it's easier to get access to the eggs.
Yeah, that was my
So I don't She was really pushing at the time to do that, which I know a lot of surgeons debate about this online, like egg retrieval first or surgery first. And when I met him, he did say, I've had patients in the past who've gotten the surgery first and then done egg retrieval, and it's been a little bit easier on their body, one, and then they're able to get better quality eggs after the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes total sense, because what if they get in there and it's just a total disaster? Like, they
Right?
can't even get to your ovaries because they're just totally wrapped around who knows what. I mean,
Yeah, my
literally.
ovaries had such big endometriomas on them. They couldn't distinguish between the left and the right ovary. So it's really interesting to me because I have never heard of a doctor suggesting a retrieval before surgery.
Oh, well, I should have met you first, because I was very conflicted at the time. I was like, I don't know if you're telling me I have to do egg retrieval. At the time, I just want to feel better first.
Yeah.
But
And I
yeah,
feel that's that's 100% totally fine and
okay,
valid
too.
as an
Yeah.
endo patient. I just want a day or two out of the week where I don't feel I am just totally failing myself. That's what I used to always say. I feel like my body is just continuously failing me, because not only the pain, you have the fatigue. Sometimes you can eat something and it's fine. The next time you eat it, you're like, wow, that really did not settle well.
Yeah.
So
For you, it's like a whole different league because you're a professional athlete. So I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Jaime and I talked about this right before you got on. As a professional athlete, you have a team. You have a nutritionist, you have a trainer, PT, all that. So when you found out you had endo and you told your team, did they know what it was, or did you have to educate them?
I think education before and after my surgery was totally different. I think before, when I got diagnosed, it was more like, okay, cool. Like,
You're like, not really.
Okay, great, cool. So
You're fine.
You do a hard rep, you throw up, you're in pain, whatever, fine, cool. You can push through, which is like, even my college coach was just push through, it's okay, calm down. And I get a lot of questions from female athletes who haven't shared their story, who are asking me, what is it like to have endo and be an athlete? And I always tell them there are some times that I am able to push through, and I'm like, I would say crazier than my endo, but there are a lot of times where I cannot push through, and as you get older, your body also changes, and you can't recover as harder and faster as you used to. My team at every level, like college, pro, post-surgery, pre-surgery, there was a lot of like me educating them and having to like let them know that, no, this also affects my life, also affects what I'm doing in the track as well. So you're saying it's just on my period, but I'm also feeling pain not on my period. I'm feeling pain squatting. I'm feeling pain when I'm doing certain movements. So having them understand that was kind of hard. But definitely a lot of educating. And after the surgery, when I got more knowledge about where the endo was, like, and talking to so many different like other people who got the surgery, just explain to me like after the surgery, like your body is like relearning and the muscles are relearning, all that stuff, and like where the endo was. Like I talk about this a lot. A lot of my injuries are on the left side of my body. A lot of the endo was found on the left side of my body. My surgeon was like, obviously there's no research because there are not a lot of professional athletes have endo and talk about it openly and get the surgery, but it's a cool little interesting fact, just my left side and how that like with certain stuff, but a lot of the endo was found on that side, so it's pretty interesting. But like, just knowing that, and that's why I think the surgery is super powerful for me, knowing information about my body. There's certain stuff I can do, there's certain stuff that I can't do. It's just super, super powerful. Even me educating, I had to educate myself a lot too. I'm like, what was going on in my body? It was definitely interesting for my team.
Yeah, and your nutritionist, that is one of the biggest things that they talk about for endo, is your nutrition, your diet, this, and this. What does your nutritionist say for you? Because you have to have so much to fuel your body. You can't be skipping on protein and carbs and all of that. You have to.
Well, even more so, I think as professional female athletes, I wouldn't even say professional female. I think as females in general, being skinny and small is what we try to attain to. And I think a lot of times, I even know I've been wrapped up in that, like not ate or ate the best meals or had like a full carb protein dish trying to attain a physique that looks powerful and strong and skinny. But within the past year or two, I've definitely been noticing that. And then my new dietitian I'm working with, she's like, especially with endo, when you are not eating and you are trying to get to a smaller weight to look a certain way, you're actually doing disservice to your body. And endo is chronic inflammatory, and you know that inflammatory is also caused by stress. And when you're not eating, you're putting your body in stress. You're stressing your body. You're stressing your body out. And when that clicked to me, she's like, yeah, you can perform and run fast, and you don't have to be like 6% body fat. And especially for you living with endo, you can also run and compete well. And for your body, just for your body type, and eat. It's okay to eat. So, like, that was mind, because, like, you know, I think we have so many people in your life telling you, like, you need to be small, you need to be skinny, you need to look this way and that way. And I'm just like, okay, cool. But then when I am that way, I don't
feel
really
worse.
You don't feel good. No.
Yeah. I don't really feel, and even if I didn't have endo, I don't think I would feel well. So, but add on endo, I'm putting my body under more stress. So, definitely working with a lot of people now, just understanding that's okay. It's okay to eat. It's okay to have protein. It's okay to have carbs. Carbs aren't bad. Carbs are your friend. We need the carbs. We need the fat. We need the healthy fat. So it's like interesting when we talk about diet, anti-inflammatory diet.
Yeah,
but
the FODMAP.
Yeah. So I would even, but recently what I have done is food testing, just finding out what foods are like your body's advert to and what it can really feed off of, and then other things. I'm happy I got the test. I recently just got in. Oh, okay, cool.
I heard about this test.
Yeah, it's a good little food test just to know. Obviously, we can do anti-inflammatory, but there are just some foods that you're just not, your body is not. But if you don't know, if you don't take the test, you're just not going to know. So knowledge is power about your body. But my nutritionists, dietitians have definitely like a mind shift for me. I'm like, oh, I'm stressing out my body when I'm not eating. Oh my God. And even with endo, like, oh my God, like I just need to eat. So mind shift for me.
Yeah. But it's good. Whatever it was that broke through for you to understand, like it did. And that's the most important thing. I want us to switch and take this somewhere most podcasts don't really dig deep into, which is the financial side of living with a chronic illness like endometriosis. And Jaime and I have talked about the insurance aspect of it and denial and medical coding and all that stuff. But what we haven't discussed is the numbers. So I want to go there with you only because I think it's important that everybody knows it's not just surgery that we're playing to fight for and pay out of pocket for, but the financial cost of chronic illness. There are so many levels to that.
Yeah. So when I was deciding whether I was going to get the surgery versus egg retrieval, I was looking at egg retrieval and I was like, this is way more expensive than the potential surgery I'm going to get. I'm like, let me start off with egg retrieval. I'm going to have to think about this, the financial aspect. And both I had to think about. I'm very blessed and fortunate enough that I am paid and I can do this job and I have sponsors and whatnot. But still, whatever you do, if you have a job or not, it's going to be expensive. So when we talk about finances, especially when it comes to endo, we're not just paying to see these specialists. We're paying for the flight. We're paying for the hotel. At the time I got the surgery, I was living in Arkansas, but my surgeon was in Oregon. So that's 2 flights to get in Oregon. That's the Airbnb I had to stay in for a couple of days. I ended up staying an extra day. That's the flights back. That's the surgery cost. That's this time I had the pre-op, the post-op. So yeah, if I had to ballpark a number for just that trip alone, at least 15K.
And that's out of pocket, you're saying? Like
It's
before
out of
insurance?
pocket. Yeah, it's out of pocket. It's out of pocket. At least
So even
15K.
with great insurance, there's still gaps.
And there's still gaps. Mine didn't take insurance. And luckily he was able to I have to ask him what he actually did. But I have insurance, but he had to do something to help. We know there's no codes for this type of surgery. We were able to get a little bit of money back from the insurance company, which was nice. But it was probably around like 15, maybe around 20K just for that alone, just to...
Was Dr. Fogelson your surgeon?
Yes. Was he your what?
No, but no.
Do you guys like?
Yes, love
Yes.
them.
No, we do. No.
Because him and Dr. Shanti do so many things together. So we're a part of the nonprofit Endo Excision for All. So we help fund surgeries for girls. And one of our girls that had, oh my God, she was a mess. She had it on her lungs, her diaphragm. She ended up losing part of her lung. We got her to Fogelson and Shanti. And when was this? She had her surgery in end of February. And she had 8-hour surgery and chest tubes and everything. They got it. And we saw her 2 weeks after.
I think it was like, we were at Endo Capital Day in Washington and she was up and up. We were like, how are you alive right now?
I know. And that's the part too. Like when I tell people about I was going to go through the route that the first person kind of was like going back and forth, if I should do egg retrieval or the surgery. I ended up not going with her, which I was happy about because I was always told to like go to like no excision specialist. And I'm not, I will say I'm an athlete. I will say I'm a professional athlete. I will definitely say that. But my recovery after that surgery, and I think it was because the surgeon I picked. And I think that's like the biggest thing.
Ding,
like,
ding, ding, ding,
picking
ding,
the
ding.
right surgeon, picking someone who knows what they're doing. I told him before, I was like, I don't need no mess ups with this surgery because my body's my job. I need to go as smoothly as it can go because I need to, I want.
And also, we shouldn't have to tell a surgeon that, okay?
Yeah. I need everything to go good because, like,
in my hopes that these doctors took.
Right?
So the fact
Don't
that we
they
have to sit here
sign?
and be like, don't fuck up.
Don't fuck up. Please don't fuck up. Please.
Yeah, please. Like, literally, I need these
it's my
legs
body.
to work.
I need my legs to work. So, being mindful of, like, who you pick. And I was happy. I could have went through with someone. I could have, and I have insurance through the USOPC, and like most of my stuff, like if it's like major stuff, that could be covered under the USOPC. So I could have went with someone in their network. I decided not to, just because I didn't do enough research with them. I did research with other people. But I was just really happy with my decision of like going with someone who was a excision specialist, and that, from the conversations I had with him, was one who get me in time, and also he was going to do the best he could do to get everything out and make sure my body is safe after. I didn't have a lot of people complained about like shoulder and neck pain. I personally didn't have any of that after. I definitely tell people all the time, please go to excision specialist. Please go. Don't risk it. Like you
everywhere.
only have. Well, I tell this a lot to women. You only have one body in this lifetime, and do whatever you can. If you feel just weird, if you're a weird vibe from a physician, leave. Just leave. They said something you don't like. You only have one body, and we have to fight for our lives to make sure that we maintain and keep this body. And so when we're entrusting people to take care of our bodies, we have to be mindful, do we actually trust them? And
go with your intuition on that, because intuition is everything, and we know, we can feel it. Like if spidey senses go off,
they're going off all the time. That's why even
pay attention.
Pay attention. Like, I feel like even with endo, it's a constant reminder, like, of trusting myself. And I feel like so many women have been told not to trust themselves, trust how they're feeling. I think a lot of times, especially with women, we're told, "No, oh, it's just your period, you're emotional." No. Our women intuition is
it's everything.
It's so
everything.
strong. So,
and I want to say that I think we really need to pay attention to something that you said earlier. You are a professional athlete. You have a bronze medal. You have great health insurance. And I have to remind myself sometimes that professional athletes, musicians, actors, you all deal with the same medical system that we do.
We do.
And before anyone comes screaming at me, I will acknowledge the fact that, yes, having money and access to decent health care helps play into that. I am not dismissing that. And at the same time, there are still so many gaps that we all bleed the same color.
We do.
So I'm not dismissing like the fact that like, yes, somebody who like you have great insurance, you have access to it. You have a job that pays you well. And there are, so many out there who don't even have access to just basic health care.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we all, even you, and like Lena Dunham, like their insurance is getting denied to cover this surgery.
Oh yeah, my insurance got denied, so it's not like it's still.
And you were gaslit and dismissed.
Yes. It's still for years. Yeah, it's definitely me too. I'm still I'm experiencing it too, and I think that's the part that I try to tell some people. Oh, Brittany, you're so strong. I'm like, yeah, I'm fighting too, though. Like I'm fighting with the everywhere in these spaces. I'm fighting to be heard, to be seen, to be validated. I'm just like you, but I still had to go outside of my network to find someone that I felt comfortable with and I felt that I could trust. So we're all finding that person. But the financial aspect with money is problem, without money it's problem.
And that's the point I think I was trying to make.
And that's the part that's, I've been there. I grew up, I didn't have a lot of insurance and stuff. So I'm grateful now I have insurance. I have opportunities, access. But now it's different type of issues. Different type of problems that I'm running into now. So it's definitely different on both sides for sure.
And can you tell our listeners how quickly from surgery to your next race?
So I had my surgery December 23rd, 2025. I had my first race April 19th, 2026. So that was
less than 4 months.
Oh, less than 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
wow.
Girl, you are a powerhouse. Because let me tell you.
Okay. You are strong.
I said to Callie last night, I think I have really bad exercise-induced flares.
I do.
Down the street.
I do. I have exercise-induced
Callie said just as I walked up.
I hate exercise. I tell people I'm allergic to exercising.
Yes, I have exercise-induced flares, so I definitely feel you in that. But I say that, like you pointed out right now, it's like I say that every now and then in podcasts. I don't really try to push it too much because I don't think I would do that ever again.
Probably smart.
Just thought I was just like, let me just try it out. Now was my first race back, was it good? No.
But you did it.
I did it. I said I did it. But was it good? No. And I appreciate my surgeon, Dr. Fulgerson. He was very upfront. He was like, you can compete, but you're probably not going to feel like yourself until almost a year. And I was like, great. I hear
in 4 months.
God, he was like,
I have so much time.
He was like, you're not going to feel like yourself by 6 to 8 months. I'm like, okay, so 6 to 8 months of feeling like shit. Awesome. Great. So I appreciate his honesty, though.
Yes.
I think a lot of times I've seen women online told not to do PT, not do pelvic floor therapy, just go right back into it. And I had a full team when I went right back into my surgery, a full team. And then my expectation, even though I was struggling with it, it was just a reality. I clung to his word so much of, hey, you're just not going to really feel like yourself for a while. So that was really helpful. But yeah, within 4 months, I was back on the track competing.
It's insane. This could be a 2-part series.
It really could, because that part is like a whole
didn't even get
thing.
into a bunch of the questions that that we had written out, which we would love to have you on again for sure. We always end our episodes with a little rapid fire question game.
Okay, I like it.
So, Jaime, take it off.
All right, hold on. I gotta find my questions. Callie threw me for a loop.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay, if your uterus was a professional athlete, what sport would it compete in?
My God, boxing.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good.
That was good.
Boxing.
That was good. Okay, if you could trade lives with any athlete for 24 hours, who and why?
Naomi Osaka for the fits and for her game. Her game is just she just plays so effortlessly.
I'm a tennis
I
player.
know who
so
she is. Naomi.
love her.
Okay, if you had a group chat with your ovaries, fallopian tubes, and period, what would the group name be?
Why are you trying to kill me? Why are you trying to kill me? That is the name.
I like it.
It's good. And then we always end on the same question, which is, if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Ooh, my younger self. Knowledge about yourself is powerful. Really start investigating yourself. Really start investigating your body, what that looks like, what makes you feel good, what makes you doesn't feel good. Because at the end of the day, no one can tell you how you feel about your body. What your perception and how you think about your body. So yeah, just really start investigating your body.
Thank you so much. Please
Yes,
come back
thank you.
on.
Okay, yes.
Yes,
Love
keep in
that.
touch.
Yes, please.
This
But
is a great conversation. I loved it.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Endo Warriors. Don't forget to hit follow, subscribe, and leave a review so other warriors can find us. Tune in next time for an all-new episode.